Everyone, I'm so happy to see you all again. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Love for Intuitive Astrology. Today I'm going to talk about the great phenomenon of Saturn Return. And Saturn Return is literally when the transiting Saturn is exactly on the same spot as your natal Saturn. And it would be like 5 degrees before or after. You will feel this the most. And Saturn return is happening between the age of 27 and 30, and then again between the age of 56 and 60, and then it's again between 84 and 90, and if you get really old, between 114 and 118. And you know, people are getting older by the generation, so definitely a few of you are gonna go through a few Saturn returns. So yeah, I will talk a little bit about Saturn, and then we're gonna see what it does through the houses, so for each house. And then I'm gonna talk a little bit about Saturn in Capricorn and Aquarius, because a few of you have just been going through it in Capricorn, and a few of you will start this journey of Saturn return. And I'm telling you, it can be a major shakeup. Saturn is the planet of hard work, maturity, karma, and it's doing a checkup like, hey, have you done the work? Have you matured in this part of your life, you know? Have you done what you were supposed to do, or were you kind of lacking through it, or were you a bit like, one day I will do this, you know? Or it could be that life just gives you something that makes you more mature, like, I don't know, a really heavy job, maybe you start a family, you know, it comes with responsibility. So if you have your Saturn return in your first house, this is really all about you and your self-image. So how are you presenting yourself in the world? You know, maybe you are this very unusual character, but you've been always afraid to show this image to the world, or how you feel in the inside. It's not reflecting on how you show yourself on the outside, you know, because the first house, you know, it's close to the ascendant. So it's all about your image, how you want to be seen, about being first, about the leader that goes first. You know, it's ruled by Aries, and Aries goes head first. So it wants you to lead forward. It wants you to work on this self-image. Like, you know, have you been working on your self-love? Is your skin glowing? Do you dare to wear your own style, or are you still adjusting to your parents who told you like, no, you should dress up like this, or your friends? So if you want to know more about your Saturn return, you can always look at your connections with Saturn. Is something squaring, trining, sextiling? If it's trining or sextiling, it's gonna help this aspect. You know, if you have some squares, it's probably a little bit more difficult. So see what is squaring your Saturn, because in the end it's all about how to get through this Saturn return faster and make it more smooth. It's kind of doing the work, like work on your self-image. And then if we go to the second house, it's all about self-value. So are you valuing yourself enough? You know, and it's ruled by, you know, it says self-value and possessions. It's because once you start valuing yourself, you will earn more money and you will get more possessions. That's why they related to each other, because literally money is energy, and when you feel that you deserve energy and abundance, then you will start receiving it. So in your second house, you must have felt like, oh, I'm working so hard, but there's never any reward for me. You could have been born in kind of a poor family. You always had to fight for money, fight for possessions. And the trick is really to value yourself so much that people just want to pay for your talents. It's also about making money independently, yeah, like being self-employed or having this responsibility of hard work is all have to do with your Saturn in the second house. And then we go to Saturn in the third house. So the third house rules your neighbors, transport, short trips. It rules your siblings. So, you know, it rules quite something. So see specifically what has been the most tough for you in your life. You know, did you want to make all these short trips and it was always delayed, or I will do this later? With Saturn in the third, it can happen that you feel very it's very difficult for you to speak up for yourself, and you felt a bit inadequate in school. You know, you were like, oh, the other ones know so well, I don't, like, I know what to say but I'm not saying it. You're kind of holding it back, and you're someone who communicates with caution. You know, you're going to communicate okay, only when you're 100% sure that you will talk about it. Yeah, but it's ruled by Gemini. So look where's Gemini in your chart, and that can tell you a little bit more about how to deal with it. And also it's about practicing communication, practicing talking to your siblings. Maybe you're starting a blog or something that you can work through your communication, gather your facts, you know. See what the Gemini does. It's gathering facts, it's gathering all the information, and it's looking at different sides. So this is key to surviving your Saturn in the third house. Don't be afraid to speak up, to communicate, to take those short trips. If it's delayed, you know, no problem. It will go through its maturity between the 27 and 30. That's your first one. And then in the second, it's checking up. The second Saturn return is going to check up if you've done it between 27 and 30. Yeah, so then we have the fourth house. And the fourth house has to do with the family. So your roots. It has to do with, like, how are you grounded in this world? Maybe you were born into certain restrictions, and Saturn return, if you haven't worked through your family issues, it will throw you into a situation where maybe you have to be responsible for your family. You have to take care of them. You know, you always felt kind of restricted in your family, like you weren't really loved or seen, because Saturn is definitely not the planet of love. See what kind of connections there are with your Saturn. Look at the positive, like sextiles and trines, or conjunctions, squares, opposites, to see what can, you know, what are the struggles and what can help you get through it. And, you know, naturally, when your fourth house is more filled with love, you will be more happy in the public in the 10th house. So that's why it's going really together. It's the IC and MC. So IC is your family and how you feel. And if you feel good with your roots, your ancestral line, your family, you're gonna show it to the outside world, and you're gonna shine, and it will be easier for you to be recognized in the public. So yeah, let's go to the fifth house. Fifth house is about creativity, about children, it's about romance. So when it's in the fifth house, you're gonna focus on these matters. It could be actually that you would get a child during this time, but Saturn in the fifth often says a delay in children. So maybe you feel this feeling that you don't want to have children, or you're afraid to have children. So you're really gonna think about it during this transit. And also your creativity might be restricted. So it's about working hard to find this creativity within yourself and finding creativity through structure. Because in the fifth house, like having fun with Saturn in the fifth house is difficult, because you prefer to work hard, to read books, you know, and this is totally fine. but sometimes to learn, because Saturn wants you to work hard for it and to learn from it. So go and be uncomfortable, start dating, be uncomfortable, start thinking about children, everything that's very uncomfortable to you, just look into it, and Saturn will show you the way. Okay, so the 6th house is about health, routines, it's about pets. So with Saturn in the 6th house, it's related to work, but also to your body, like it's about having a good routine, waking up early, doing sports, taking care of yourself. If you lacked taking care of yourself, Saturn will, throw you maybe some, I don't want to say disease, but there might be some things happening in your body that is actually telling you, hey, listen, there is something that's going on in your body. You haven't watched to your health, through eating, mental health. So it's time to work out. It's time to eat mindfully, those kind of things. And, also with your job, are you doing the job that you would like to do? Are you happy with the routine that you're having with your job and your colleagues? So this is all coming up. And the trick really is to figure out what's going on in your body. What is it telling you? And have you worked, either if you haven't worked hard at all, you're gonna have to work hard during this Saturn return. But if you worked really hard, you will be rewarded, because Saturn rewards after, you've done your maturity. Then we're going to Saturn in the 7th house. So this has to do with relationships. It has to do with business partnerships. And, with Saturn, it restricts. So it's really, you felt restricted in having a relationship or something of a higher commitment. More of a commitment, like a marriage. Maybe you were always against marriage, So these things will come up during your Saturn return. Maybe it's forcing you to have a business partnership or a marriage. And, if you have never thought about it, it's time to look into that part of your life, It's about commitment. But also if you have Saturn in the 7th house and you had a relationship before, I don't want to be super negative about it, but there's very little times that the relationship survives. Like usually Saturn happens with maturity. So if you have Saturn in the 7th house, your best relationships come with age. But, the breakup, or if not a breakup, but a temporarily pause, will teach you a lot about relationships and about what you really want. Like maybe you were dating something that wasn't mature enough or wasn't committed enough. And now you're like, this is what I'm looking for, so I'm gonna go for it. And now we're going on to the 8th house. And the 8th house stands for sexuality, death, the occult. Maybe you've been so afraid of the occult. Maybe you've been afraid to express your sexuality. Maybe you've been afraid of going into joint ventures or sharing bank accounts, and you're like, ugh. So these matters will come up if you haven't dealt with them during the Saturn return. So look into these matters, like between these ages. It's time to stand up for yourself and to face the uncomfortable in the eyes. And then we're going to the 9th house. This is really about a higher connection. It's about seeing the world from a higher perspective, from a view of experience and knowledge. Have you been afraid to connect with something bigger than yourself? Have you been afraid to travel to faraway places? Or, maybe you want to do it, but it's just been delayed. Or maybe you grew up into a very religious family and it really put a mark on you. Like, no, I don't believe anything, It's about, or you believe in one certain thing. And 9th house is embracing all spirituality, all religions. So you're going to investigate more in the different religions and the different belief systems that are out there. So, visiting culture, so you can have a better idea of what is happening in the world and what is your belief system? What do you believe? It's about you exploring what's out there rather than reading it from books and following those guidelines. And this is going to be a little bit uncomfortable for you during the Saturn return. And then we're going to the 10th house. So yeah, if you have Saturn in the 10th house, you've probably been a little bit afraid to show yourself in the public. You could have had one of your parents, especially your father, you know, been very conservative business type of person, someone with a lot of maturity and very present, someone you looked up to, and it's very hard to follow the guidelines and to be also this type of person that's high up in the ladder in the companies and that everyone is looking up to. It's like you have to work so hard to get to a higher position, while other people just talk themselves through it, like, hey, I'm just gonna go up there. But with Saturn in the 10th house, it's in its own house. It's ruled by Capricorn, so it does want you to work very hard to get where you want to be. But as Saturn does, it really brings the reward to brings the reward when you've done the job. And then we're going to Saturn return in the 11th house. So this is about groups, this is about friends. You're probably having, just a few friends around you. You're not someone that wants to have a lot of friends around you. And actually, the 11th house is ruled by Aquarius, which wants to have a lot of acquaintances, who wants to see the world as a futuristic innovative place. So you like to keep it small. So it's really about seeing the bigger picture in life and learning through other people, through your friends, through different groups. Like, I don't know what you like doing. You can, it's opposing your 5th house, so maybe some kind of creativity you can explore with a group, and you learn through that. And once you see that it's not so hard making different friends, like not everyone needs to be best friend forever, but some people are just in your life for a shorter period. And Aquarius is more detached. It's like, okay, cool, let's hang out and we'll see what happens after, and then we're going to Saturn return in the 12th house. This is the last house. It's the hidden stuff. So this is the house of karma with the planet of karma. So anything that comes up, it's really about selfless service. With Saturn there, you feel this responsibility to be in a selfless service. And if you don't do it, you're gonna feel very restricted. So yeah, the trick is to do something voluntarily that really is something of an improvement for the world, because that eventually will make you happy, but it will be through some struggle. The 6th house is actually more related to work, that like service for money, and the 12th house, you can get money as well, but it comes from a selfless heart. And with Saturn there, you feel this super heavy responsibility to do something for the world. So try to find something that brings something to the world, but doesn't feel like such a heavy spot, but something you love doing. So at least you resolve this karma of the 12th house, and to be open to your dreams, through your messages coming from the other side. Like if your Saturn has a connection with Mercury, you can start trying to write, and organize the writing and work hard through it, and use intuitive visions to get the writing on paper. So yeah, this is all the Saturn going through the houses. Like I said, Saturn is the planet of maturity, so you will get rewarded after you've done the hard work, and this will show itself into Saturn return itself. And I just went through Saturn return myself, and it was crazy. I literally I quit my job, and my Saturn is in my 2nd house, so I quit my job to be self-employed. And I felt I always had to work quite hard to get some kind of income or some kind of possession. Like, I've been working hard for a long time, and there was nothing really ever, I've lived very comfortably, and I love living a comfortable life. But with Neptune also in the second house and Uranus, it's like I need to do something unusual to make money. And with Neptune is saying I don't actually care about money. I'm just gonna do whatever I feel like. And with the moon in the 12th house, it's like, I just want to serve the world and do something nice. So yeah, I had to go through that, and I started my own business. So yeah, I started astrology, and I started the marketing business that I also do, and everything on my own and doing my own administration, and that was really a struggle. And with that came the self-value, because then I needed to start rating what am I worth and what do I need to do. And then besides that, I moved countries. So it was like I didn't have anything fixed in my life. No fixed job, no fixed house. I moved within 2 months to a different country without any security. All the security left me, because with Saturn, we tend to hold on to something as well. So I had to learn to let go of everything. And it was such a tough time. But I kind of laughed through it. I was like, no. I'm connecting to my higher self, and I'm gonna go through this experience by just trusting the universe and knowing that's gonna be okay. And it was a huge leap of faith, It's like it's not an easy process. Like some people with easier, will go through it easy, and others very hard. And I would say for me it was more like I had to learn how to let go of all my possessions. I gave away all my things when I moved. I was like, okay, I'm gonna give a lot of it to charity. I just gave it away. I think I sold only 3 things, and the rest I just gave away. And then I just moved. I was like, you know what? I'm not my possessions, and my possessions are not me. So I can do without it. And it was the best thing ever. It was really a big relief. And then it was about, I had some heart palpitations, and it happened exactly on the Saturn conjunct Pluto. And, I was in the hospital for a few days, and I realized like I've never been living for myself. I was always living for other people. So this had to do with the self-value I gave myself. I'm not worth to focus on me. So it was like, no, I need to focus on myself first. And then I can help other people. And then I can do all the other things. So yeah, it was a really crazy experience, but I'm so grateful. It just ended actually. It started more or less when I was 28, and I'm 30 now. So I'm rounding it up. And then we can go to the next subject, that is Saturn in Aquarius. Because in December, it's gonna go to the sign of Aquarius. And some say it's the start of the age of Aquarius. And it can be doubted if it starts with Saturn or with Pluto. I think with both. So we have to see what is Aquarius. So for a while it was in Capricorn, the sign of, Capricorn stands for the father. So on a global level, it's the government, the politicians, the system of a country, and we've doubted that for a long time, and with Saturn going for a bit into Aquarius, and we started having Corona, so a restriction in our freedom. Aquarius is freedom. It's an air sign, so a restriction of air. And then it went back into Capricorn, economic crisis. We started questioning the government, like what is real about Corona, what is not real, what should we believe? So with Capricorn, it was personally all about hard work, and it's comfortable in its own sign. So it was purely about just working really hard to get what you want. And with Aquarius, it is about how do you see your freedom? How can we make the world a more innovative place? But it doesn't come easily. So with Saturn in Aquarius, it's not like, oh yeah, now I have like Uranus, flashy insights and everything. No, it's like we need to work hard to get to this ideal future, you know, the sign of the water bearer, the brotherhood, you know. Aquarius wants everyone to be equal and sees everyone as their equal. So, you know, you could say that really we want to go to a world where everyone's equal, no matter the gender, no matter who you are, what you are. We should just love each other the way we are, you know, and let people be. This is really about Saturn in Aquarius, like you know, and with Saturn there's a restriction of freedom, of meeting your friends, of everything, you know. So it's making you question and appreciate the freedom that we always had, you know, and we never really appreciated that anymore. So with Saturn there, it's like, look what you had so much freedom, but what can we do to even make it even better, to make it more comfortable? And also working from home is a major Aquarius thing, you know. So yeah, look through the houses. Where's your Saturn? So you can see that in your birth chart. You can go to astro.com, something like this, and you have to see where is it in your birth chart and which sign it is in, you know. So look at the qualities of that sign. So for example, Capricorn is the hardworking sign, blah, blah, blah. This is how you get easier to your Saturn return. So you could have it, I don't know, in Aquarius, and then the next sign would be Pisces. So, or you've been through it already and you can go back and see, like, did I focus on that? Was that a difficult time for me? And you will get a better understanding of it. So yeah, go through that and you will have answers about what Saturn does to you and the connections with other planets. You know, is Saturn connected to your Venus? You know, it has to do with self-love, a restriction of money, a restriction of love, and then look in which house it is, you know. If this is also complicated, you can always book a reading with me. I would be happy to help you. You can find my email in the description box below and you can book an appointment with me. And I would love to help you with your Saturn return. I love working with solutions and with helping people to get through life in a better way. And share my experiences, you know, my experience, the experience I've seen from other clients. Like, you put it all together and, you know, it's not only happening at a young age, it's happening in your 60s again, you know. Like, what if it's like a review about your life. What have I done so far? And where am I going? All these kind of things. So it's really a checkup, and it can go easy and it can go quite harsh, you know. It depends on if you owned it, if you own the house, if you own the sign where it's in. It's really important to own everything. And for example, when it was happening in my second house in Taurus, you know, it's the original house of Taurus. So you can check where's your natal Taurus and your Saturn, where's your Capricorn. Well, for me, obviously, Saturn was in Capricorn. So through hard work and through self-value, I will earn money. And with Saturn, it's most likely after 35, but it will start building up. And if you've done the work already quite well, you will get rewarded. So yeah, this is really the message I wanted to bring about Saturn return. Please don't panic about it. Yes, it's a karma checkup. Yes, it could be tough. But like everything, you know, live in the moment, because all the lessons that are coming to you are literally for you to grow into like a better person, into a better you, a better version of you. And you're going to be happier because you always get rewarded after your hard work, you know. And when you're avoiding things, you're just postponing it. It will come back to you later, you know. Everything you put out, you will get back. So always remember that. And yes, if you believe in past lives and you screwed up in your past life, that kind of sucks, because you will get it back at the beginning of your life. And you can check that by checking your south node, like your previous life, and all the difficult squares or like positions together with your south node. And then your Saturn is telling a lot about it. But don't worry about it. We're here to learn. You're here to make mistakes. You're here to get it right, you know, and maybe you don't get it right. That's okay as well. Just, you know, follow your intuition and follow your own guidance, and you'll get so much further. So this is what I would like to give to you in this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel, give it a thumbs up, and leave a comment how Saturn Return was going for you. Thank you so much. All blessings, and wish you all the best.